The Italian Wine Podcast is the community-driven platform for Italian wine geeks around the world. Support the show by donating at ItalianWinepodcast.com. Donate €5 or more and we'll send you a copy of our latest book, My Italian Grape Geek Journal, absolutely free. To get your free copy of My Italian Grape Geek Journal, click Support Us at ItalianWinepodcast.com or wherever you get your pods. Grazie mille. Welcome to the Italian Grape Geek podcast. Join us as we explore personal stories of travel and tasting with Italy's must-know grape varietals. Chart your own course with My Italian Grape Geek Journal, your personal tasting companion to accompany the series. Available now on Amazon. With thanks to Colangelo and Partners for their generous support with this project.
Hi everyone, this is Barbara Fitzgerald. I'm an Italian wine ambassador based in both Sonoma County, California, and Puglia, Italy. I own a wine marketing agency that serves wineries in both California and Italy. I'm also married to a winemaker. I come from a family who's been in the wine industry for about 100 years. So wine is really my life in all ways. And of course, I'm especially proud to be an Italian wine ambassador because my Italian roots mean so much to me and because I really think this is the most incredible wine community out there. Okay, so let's get down to the geeky stuff. Today we're going to delve into a couple families of autochthonous Italian grape, and we're going to start with kind of a big one, an important one, the Moscato family, or if you're talking about them plurally, the Moscati. So not all the Moscato grapes are related, but many of them have been found to share common ancestry, which makes them more of a family than just a group. And in this family, there are over 200 varieties actually around the world with the name Moscato, and they range from table grapes to wine grapes. The traits of Moscato grapes can vary pretty widely, so they showcase a spectrum of skin colors. They can be anything from sunny yellow to really blushing pink or rosy red, and some have some pretty rich garnet hues. So what it is that truly unites this family is the distinct and enchanting aroma. So that Moscato scent that's often referred to as muscat and is characterized by a really delightful blend of orange blossom, pineapple, honey, sage, and rose notes. These aromas come from three specific terpenes, which are aromatic molecules, which are commonly found in most of these Moscato grapes, and those are linalool, geraniol, and nerol. So in the Moscato family, some of the most significant grapes are white grapes. We've got Moscato Bianco, Moscato di Alessandria, Moscato Giallo, Moscato di Terracina, e Moscato Selvatico. And then with red grapes, we have Moscato di Scanzo, Moscato Rossa, and Moscato Nero d'Acqui. So let's dig into a few of those now. First, Moscato Bianco. This is really kind of the key player of the Moscato family. Super refined floral aromas and a really distinct flavor profile. This grape traces its roots back to the early 14th century and has really strong ties with Syria and Greece. A significant milestone for Moscato Bianco is its crossing with Eftecoilo, which is a Greek grape known for its high yields. And this crossing created Zebibo, or Moscato di Alessandria. Likely this crossing occurred in either Greece or Italy. We can't pinpoint exactly. But then that pairing of Moscato Bianco and Eftecoilo together are most likely the parents of many of the Moscato varieties, whether through intentional crossing or spontaneous crossing. Throughout history, Moscato Bianco has been really prosperous in a few regions of Italy, but really its true home is in the Alessandria province of Piemonte, where it's been since the 1300s. The grape really gained a lot of prominence when the Duke of Savoia introduced legislation in the 15th century that promoted local Moscato production and really kind of made it an enduring grape. It's incredibly versatile and also abundant, but Moscato Bianco is really cultivated around the world internationally. It's grown as Muscat Blanc à Petit Grain in France or Moscatel di Grano Pequeño in Spain, which are all names that really tip their hat to the small size of the berries. And I mentioned it's really kind of mostly grown in Piemonte and Italy, but it's very adaptable. So it can also thrive in some warmer climates like Sicily and Puglia and Sardinia. For Moscato Bianco, we get a really kind of delightful mix of rose, white peach, apricot, sage, thyme, and a really like quintessential characteristic grapey essence. The aromatic versatility of this grape makes it an ideal choice for various wine styles. So the most common that you may have heard of is the sweet, low alcohol sparkling Moscato d'Asti, but we can also see it made in a light-bodied dry or off-dry still wine, and even Vendemmia Tardiva, late harvest from air-dried grapes, and also fortified wines. Some of the benchmark producers are La Quadrina in Piemonte and also Marabino in Sicily. Once upon a time, it seemed like Moscato d'Asti and its derivatives were really everywhere. In fact, interestingly enough, my family once upon a time in Sonoma County used to produce a California Muscatel, but it's losing popularity these days, and it kind of bums me out because I think it's really in line with current consumer preferences, low in alcohol, deeply rooted in heritage. So maybe this is my plug to get people drinking more of it. It is sweet, but I love it poured over ice in the summertime for like a super refreshing aperitivo. And not all, sweetness levels are not universal across the board. You can find some that are a little less sweet. Okay, another grape, Moscato d'Alessandria. So we're going to talk now about an island off of Sicily called Pantelleria, which is actually closer to Tunisia in Africa than it is to Sicily, just to give you an idea of kind of like how far south this is from Sicily and mainland Italy. This island is a young volcanic island that's home to Moscato di Alessandria, or as it's locally known, Zebibo. Those two names are interchangeable. The origins of this grape trace back to southern Italy or Greece, and it's heat and drought resistant, which makes it perfect for warm climate. It's actually also popular as a table grape. It's got large, thick-skinned berries, which make it ideal for drying without the risk of rot or botrytis. Zebibo, or Moscato di Alessandria, is richer than Moscato Bianco and Moscato Giallo, which we'll talk about next, and really kind of has an aromatic profile that's defined by lower linalool and higher geraniol content. So we get lots of flavors of raisin, caramel, orange, and sweet figs, as well as a really distinct saline quality. When it's made in a dry style, Moscato di Pantelleria wine is really fresh and dry and aromatic with lots of dried herbs and lily of the valley, ginger, and apricot. If it's made from air-dried grapes, it's called Passito di Pantelleria, which is a sticky, sweet, and lusciously creamy wine with like orange marmalade, honey aromas. It can also be made liquoroso, which is a fortified wine. But I really want to spend a moment here talking about Passito di Pantelleria because many people call it Italy's most extravagant dessert wine. In historical context, it was romanticized by Casanova as an offering to his lovers. The wine achieves a minimum residual sugar of 110 grams per liter, so making it comparable to Sauterne or Moscato d'Asti. And I want to talk a little bit about not just a benchmark producer, but a hero producer, which is Donofugata. So the first time I tried their Benrier, Passito di Pantelleria, was during my VIA course in 2023. And I have to be honest, I was so stressed about studying for my exam that I don't think I was able to fully appreciate it in that moment. But then this year, when I attended Opera Wine before Vinitaly, Donofugata was there pouring this wine. I have to say that in a sea of Italian excellence, the Benrier just knocked my socks off. The Rollo family, the owners of Donofugata, and their winemaker, Pietro Russo, were all there, and it truly felt like I was amongst keepers of history, drinking a wine that is tremendously difficult to make and requires incredible dedication to produce. So it just felt so special. And not to mention, the wine was so surprising with how bright and balanced it was. I think Passito di Pantelleria is delicious with Sicilian cassata, which is a traditional Sicilian cake that is made with ricotta cheese, fruit, and a sweetened ricotta sweet cream filling. But I also really like savory sweet pairings. So I think it's also really good with some foie gras, as the wine sweetness will really balance the richness of the foie gras. Okay, Moscato Giallo. So we're going to go way back up north. We're going to leave Sicily and head back up to the northeastern regions of Italy, where you'll discover Moscato Giallo. This is an aromatic grape that thrives in Veneto, Trentino Alto Adige, and Friuli Venezia Giulia. Plays a starring role in two distinct wines from Colli Ugine, the Fior di Arancio and the Moscato. And interestingly, both wines can be still, sparkling, or Pasito. So we really get a range of taste experiences with these Moscato Giallo from Friuli. Moving away from Friuli, you'll find noteworthy Moscato Giallo wines in Trentino DOC and Alto Adige DOC, and they're often labeled as Golden Muscateller, the German name for the grape. So compared to Moscato Bianco and Zebibo, Moscato Giallo is definitely less grapey and less briny, with a lower acidity that gives it a kind of sweeter taste, a sweeter perception in your mouth. I think flavors and aromas are really these kind of delightful bouquet of yellow flowers, sweet spices like nutmeg and cinnamon, some white pepper, orange blossom, and lychee fruit. Some top-notch producers to look for out there are the excellent co-op Cantina Kellerai and Erstenoia in Alto Adige, and also Vignalta in Veneto. It's pretty challenging to find Moscato Giallo in my area, but if you find it in yours, definitely give it a try. I think it really complements spice-forward dishes like Indian curries or Moroccan tagines, and those dishes can often be harder to pair with wines, so fun opportunity could await there. All right, now we're going to head east from Friuli and Trentino Alto Adige to the picturesque hills surrounding Bergamo in Lombardia, where we discover a rare gem known as Moscato di Scanzo. This is an aromatic red grape that is often compared to Aleatico, but really Moscato di Scanzo has a personality of its own. Moscato di Scanzo is a DOCG wine, so we know production is really strictly regulated to ensure highest quality. This is an air-dried sweet wine that boasts a really distinct red berry fragrance with complements of cocoa and violet. I find really fascinating is its high yet balanced acidity, making it kind of this nice treat for your palate with those interesting flavors. Let's be careful though not to confuse this with Moscato Rosso or Moscato Nero, which are not synonyms of Moscato di Scanzo. And if you're curious to try it, Il Cipresso is a benchmark producer worth seeking out. Traditional pairings for a Moscato di Scanzo would be a sweet treat like a chocolate-based dessert or a very robust cheese like gorgonzola. But for something a little outside of the box, I think it could be really good with like a really hearty braised short rib and let the sweetness and the fragrance of the wine bring some lift to the meat. So the last of the family, the Moscato family I'll mention is Moscato Rossa, which despite its name, Rossa, which means pink in Italian, don't be fooled, neither the berries nor the wine itself are pink. In fact, Moscato Rossa is actually a really deep garnet color, but the name comes from the wine's captivating aroma of red roses. Some recent genetic research has confirmed that Moscato Rossa is related to Moscato Bianco, Moscato Giallo, Moscato di Scanzo, and Zebibo. So we've got a great family tree here. You'll typically find Moscato Rossa made in two distinct styles. So there is a very sweet version that would be made from air-dried grapes, and then a moderately sweet version that would be made from late harvested Vendemmia Tardiva grapes. The wines are typically pretty rich and full-bodied, with some people even saying they are, quote, good enough to eat. The aroma and flavor profiles combine a lot of those red rose notes with strawberry jam, raspberry, cinnamon, clove, and nutmeg. In Alto Adige, Moscato Rossa is known as Rosen Muscateller. And keep in mind that Moscato Rossa is not the same things as wines labeled pink muscat, which usually come from outside of Italy and are generally made by blending Moscato Bianco with a little bit of red grape juice. A benchmark producer of Moscato Rossa is Abbazia di Novecella. And I think that this would be really good with something that is strawberry based, maybe like a dessert strawberry shortcake or a tart of some kind. But again, because I really love savory sweet pairings, I think it could be so good with a pork tenderloin that's prepared with some kind of fruit-based reduction.
Are you enjoying this podcast? Don't forget to visit our YouTube channel, Mama Jumbo Shrimp, for fascinating videos covering Stevie Kim and her travels across Italy and beyond, meeting winemakers, eating local food, and taking in the scenery. Now back to the show.
Okay, let's move on to another family called the Raboso family. So this is a family of very two closely related red grapes that are really high in tannin and acid. They are deeply colored, but they do tend to lose their color fast. These two grapes are Raboso Piave and Raboso Veronese. Let's talk about Raboso Piave first. It's actually one of Italy's oldest grape varieties. The first mentions of it date back to 1679. It's known for its super striking high acidity, robust tannins, deep color, and it's also long been a really popular blending partner. But as international varieties like Cabernet and Merlot have gained more prominence over time, this ancient Italian grape kind of fell out of favor due to some of that acidity, which can sometimes be harsher. The name Raboso Piave likely comes either from a similarly named tributary off the Piave River, which meanders through the production zone of Veneto. And another theory is that it connects it to the Italian word Raboso, meaning angry, which is a nod to its characteristically high tannin and acidity levels. So adding to the confusion, this variety, Raboso Piave, is sometimes called Friularo due to the belief that it originated in Friuli Venezia Giulia. But don't mix it up with Raboso Friularo, which is actually a synonym for Raboso Veronese. Despite its somewhat temperamental nature, Raboso Piave is actually really adaptable and can thrive in various soils. It is early budding and late ripening, which makes it vulnerable to spring frosts and autumn rains. To tame the grape's really high malic and tartaric acid, a lot of growers are experimenting with techniques like de-leafing, late harvesting, and air drying. And some are even using clonal selection to develop grapes that already have lower acidity and tannin while maintaining the unique flavor profiles of Raboso Piave grape. So while Raboso Piave may have a angry side, the well-made wines actually offer really intense aromas of strawberry and black cherry and violet, tobacco, black pepper. With the proper balance, kind of extraction and fruit sweetness, the acidity can actually be quite refreshing. Producers often age the wines in wood to further smooth out the high acidity. And as I mentioned, some wines are actually crafted from air-dried grapes, which yield a really smooth, kind of velvety, luscious experience that's reminiscent of a lighter style Amarone. And then on the other hand, some late harvested grapes result in really fresh and refined wines. And because of their super high tannin content, Raboso Piave grapes aren't really the best choice for sweet wines. Benchmark producer of this really unique grape is Cecchetto, and the key production areas are Piave DOC and Bagnoli Friularo DOCG in Veneto. So the other family member here is Raboso Veronese, which is a crossing of Raboso Piave with Marzemina Bianca. This crossing likely happened in Verona, hence the name Raboso Veronese, but really the grape is local to the Treviso area in a different part of the Veneto. So Raboso Veronese balances the kind of harsher elements of its parent grape, often lower acidity, lower tannin, and having a little bit more of enhanced aromatic qualities. This grape, I would say, is more delicate, definitely more floral, more graceful. I think all of these characteristics make it a really versatile choice for blends. So winemakers often pair it with the bolder Raboso Piave to create a really harmonious and complex wine. In comparison to Raboso Piave, Raboso Veronese has a more moderate vigor in the vineyard and can also adapt very well to various soils. Its aromatic profile includes sour cherry, blackberry, plum, and then some hints of violet, spice, and sometimes maybe some earthy or leathery notes. The wine is typically just still and dry with robust tannins and high acidity that make it pretty suitable for aging. Monovarietal expressions of Raboso Veronese are less common, whereas it's easier to find some monovarietal Raboso Piave wines. Due to the high acidity and tannin of Raboso wines, they pair well with rich fatty foods that can really balance the astringency. So think of grilled meats, game, robust pasta dishes. They also pair nicely with aged cheeses and traditional Veneto dishes such as risotto and savory, smoky, dried horse meat. Well, I hope you enjoyed learning about the Moscato and Raboso families and that you have the opportunity to go experiment with these wines for yourself. It's so interesting to see how grapes from the same family can express themselves in different and unique ways. So enjoy. Thanks for listening.
Listen to the Italian Wine Podcast wherever you get your podcasts. We're on SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Himalaya FM, and more. Don't forget to subscribe and rate the show. If you enjoy listening, please consider donating through ItalianWinePodcast.com. Any amount helps cover equipment, production, and publication costs. Until next time, cin cin.